Welcome, everyone, to War in the Soul City, Episode 12. Our coterie, the Dig Crew, has been working hard over this holiday season to find out more about the anarchs who plague the city with their ravaging of a somewhat sacred event in this city. The solstice celebration was rudely interrupted by an explosion near the entryway in which the coterie of the court of the Camarilla had all donated vessels towards the longevity of their kind should a sort of famine befall them. But the anarchs made away with the box truck that contained all of the vessels they had collected that night. But the Dig Crew pursued, and thus were able to capture one of the individuals responsible and slay the other. And in recent nights, they added Ken Tanaka to their ranks. A turncoat. One who does not share in the anarch ways. And thus is how our coterie finds themselves. Still on the tail of these anarchs who have seemed to collect under one banner and have quite expertly avoided detection, capture, destruction. Quiet as a mouse, they seem. What are they planning? What are they doing? Even those who have known these anarchs for many, many years have no idea what lays in store. The name Tyler starting to circle in the street level of this city. A name praised by anarchs for the creation of the movement. And when the Dig Crew awakes, Ken being the first to wake this evening, he finds, when and if he leaves his room, the rest of his coterie mates, little rooms of their own, still shut, still closed. So I would like you all to make rouse checks, but Ken, you are the first to wake. You have roughly half an hour before anyone else wakes up. You know your coterie mates to be beauty sleepers. That grumbling in your stomach gets a bit louder. The voice, the ever-present voice that tells you to feed, to destroy, to get angry, to exert your power onto others. It is getting stronger tonight. And you're very, very close to needing to quell that hunger before it gets out of hand. Because you know how it overtakes you.
Yes.
So give us an idea of what your thoughts are waking up this early part of the evening. The holiday long spent.
Well, after last night, Ken kind of is excited for the prospects of something new, maybe a way that he could fit in a little bit better. He's still worried about the anarchs and what they're planning, and worried about his sire and how she is mixed up in all of it, and what the inevitable conclusion that's going to become is because of what he has seen. He's also very curious about the man that gave him a ride home, who something just didn't sit right with Ken.
Thoughts racing through your mind, does he know?
I hope not, but who knows?
The only way to know for sure is to ask him outright, and you know that if the answer is not favorable, you'd have to get rid of him. The masquerade and everything. Else the sheriff come for your coteries' heads. Which I'm sure has come across the other coterie mates that you have. Malice, you've probably shared, in fact recently, a brush with a possible masquerade breach, and you can only fathom what if the prince was swift in his ability to reduce a thin blood to a heap. What does that mean for your Nosferatu sheriff?
Um, no, this is very worried about that individual. At some point tonight, he'll have to get back into the hospital and see if he can sneak into the records and find out where he lives. So much going on, and there's so much silence from these anarchs. I'm meant to be gathering under one banner. I don't think any of this bodes well for anybody involved, especially those on the front lines, whether it's our coterie or Mr. Quinn's. Something big's coming down, and I just don't know what. And that don't sit well with me.
Yes, Spencer Quinn, the Bruja Hound. The only Bruja in this Camarilla court, because the rest are amongst the anarchs. So far as the city knows. Right, Dana? What are your thoughts as you wake? If you're speaking, I don't hear you.
I think I'm going to need to end up getting a better lay of the land. There's been changes. I made sure of that. But unfortunately, sad truth is most of these apes really just end up having, well, they're just all over the place. I'm not sure on how to end up even beginning to end up approaching this entire cluster of a situation. It's becoming all the more difficult to end up trying to end up keeping up and trying to figure out where the anarchs are and what they're up to is becoming difficult, though the fact that they are under one banner is concerning, especially with the name Tyler involved. Yeah, there's even a part of me that has some feelings about that, and sometimes I need to remind myself my situation. Not that my waking existence will ever let me forget it, but until the time is right, I'll continue playing the cards. I'll continue playing the courtly toreador that they all end up expecting me to be, because that's all that they want. Somebody who toes the line. Which is fine by me so long as I can end up staying above ground. And there's the coterie between Rodney smelling up the place, that Hecata, who we're currently paired with, and their counterpart. Do they always work in twos? Is that a thing? I'm not sure. But it ends up making me wonder. He may come across as the good doctor, but I know what he is. I don't forget what he is. And then there is Ken Tanaka, a individual who I swear will be the death of me. I'm not sure if he's paired into this coterie. It's in my best interest to keep him afloat, but in all honesty, I don't think he's made for this life. He complains about how cruel it can be. I don't think he's ever seen how the Camarilla really acts. See, at least I don't go into this blind. I'm really understanding on just how far the Anarchs will go. I know how far the Camarilla will go. The only thing I'm interested in is surviving it. So I'll do what I have to. Because after all, the Camarilla is my only safety at this moment. Much as they may not care for it, the fact of the matter is so long as I'm above ground, that means that their rules are being upheld, and me getting off is going to be a very big excuse for them to go a lot harder. It also means they're going to have to. After all, the death of just the Keeper of Elysium, look what that's wrought. The Blood Hunt has been called, and all Anarchs are open season. And I've already gotten my first bit on the body count. I'm going to be burning a lot of familiar faces by the end of this, I swear to you.
Poor Trevor. Wrong side of the fence. Ken, is there anything that you would like to do before your coterie mate's wake?
Would I know how to get in touch with Walter Holloway? Would he have given me a number or a place to send a letter? Or
He probably would have given you a place to leave a note.
Okay, I would like to do that.
Okay. That's not going to take you very long, as driving into, the middle of the city somewhere, dropping off a piece of paper with perhaps your name on it, and leaving it in a designated place. Perhaps you'll get a call or you'll get a response. You'll have to wait and see. But by the time you return, Dana and Malice have awakened. And Dana and Malice, you awake to find that Ken has indeed stepped out for a moment, but you don't find Rodney, Liv, or Mercy amongst you either. Perhaps they slept somewhere else this morning?
Oh, goody. Well, then that just complicate matters. I can imagine Liv's already been called off, or probably had to end up staying in a safe house somewhere. Her patrols to keep her active at all times. Rodney has the entire sewer system, so for all I know, he walked up somewhere in the Pacific. And, well...
Or the Gulf of Mexico.
I don't think I'd be that lucky.
Given that's the closest body of water in the ocean.
Yeah. No, he's probably swimming around nearby. Still smell him. And then there's Mercy. I don't know. I feel oftentimes that Mercy is running around somewhere in the background, and Malice is here to end up serving as the distraction sometimes. I know I presume the worst. What worries me is how frequently I'm right. When I end up seeing Ken, I look him over for a moment. Well, where did you go?
I had business I had to take care of, and dropping off a letter.
Letter.
Yes, a personal letter.
Can he understand that you might realize that might end up getting a few eyebrows raised at you right now? Where in wartime, you're fresh off the block, you ended up coming in from Anarch Turf, now you're dropping off letters. Dead drops, maybe? Something like that. Not making an accusation, just explaining on how it looks.
And perception is everything.
Oh, good. You're not an idiot. Not as much of one, anyway. I presume that you, traded brains for looks, so... I'm glad to see that you didn't go all in. So... Jan looks to you expectingly.
It is someone that is finding out information for me. Walter Holloway.
Holloway.
You can roll an int politics if you want to know more. You know briefly that that name sounds familiar. Toreador, maybe? But we can find out if you know more. Also, don't forget Dana and Malice roll rouse checks.
I already rolled success.
But it didn't.
Oh, it didn't.
My script apparently decided to go bunk. That's okay, I'll reroll. There we go. Okay, that hurts, but we'll roll it, and let's...
Yes, you are getting hungrier, Miss Rain. That little voice in the back of your mind.
I'll keep it at a 2.
Walter Holloway. He's Toreador, you know that much for sure. He's kind of walked in similar circles to Liv's sire, Caitlin Vargas. He's ambitious, is probably a polite way to put it. He's not exactly an old Toreador, but he certainly is making headway as someone notable in the city. What he intends to do with that is anybody's guess. But he's charming. He's your typical Toreador, in a way.
The mask. Yeah, I
Prides himself as a manager of several businesses.
Guess that makes sense given who the prince of the city is. So I look over Kenny and I don't make much more of a note of it. I'll keep it in the back of my mind. Still trying to figure out the angles, but no sense here jumping to conclusions. Just enough to end up making the paranoia set in. Or at least get him second guessing his actions so he doesn't do anything incredibly stupid.
One could hope. But if he does so do something stupid, we could always eat him.
If he's an anarch, that would probably be the result, yeah. Why not? He can buy me a dinner with his life.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Because right now he would be under the sixth tradition. The blood hunt is for anarchs, and until I can prove that, please, I just ended up here. Please, I just ended up here lambasting Kenny for being an idiot. Don't turn me into one as well. That's what I thought. I sit down at the table and I kind of pinch my brows, though this whole opening has already started to put me in a foul mood, a bit of a headache, and I look to the other two. All right. Well, let us get the itinerary out of the way. What exactly is the hopes to accomplish tonight? At least lets me keep a tag on where everybody's going.
Well, what do you know about the Gutenberg?
Gutenberg. Joseph?
Other than that he's a Tremere, do you know anything else?
Well, I know that he's old. I know that you're probably talking about somebody who's lasted long enough to end up knowing when to go in and when to pull out. You're probably thinking of somebody who's... I'd like to end up thinking of Wise Man. I knew a few who looked up to him. Now here's a question. If I recall, CoffeeCat, don't quote me on this, but if I recall the last time I rolled on Gutenberg, I did have a clan.
Yes. Yes, you did. You would know he's Tremere. He doesn't really hide it.
You're talking about a member of Clan Tremere, and the goddamn warlocks have always been one of the more crafty sons of bitches that have ever existed on this planet. Makes them particularly ornery. So now you got somebody who is paranoid, capable, and who has existed through enough things and decades to be able to end up saying, "Yeah, I know exactly what's coming."
So nothing more than I already know.
What were you hoping?
From my understanding of a previous situation, you might have much more information to share on the man than I already knew, but start as a place where he might take and keep Willow while he interrogates her.
I don't think you would want to end up having a place where you just settle people down. That's not typically how that works. You want to keep on the move and you want to end up having a few locations. Besides, if you really wanted to end up doing that, ST, I would like to end up making a roll here.
Yes, what role?
Because I know enough to know that Joseph would be an individual who is formally or does end up having a lot of ties in the Anarch movement, which means they probably have a favorite or two.
Possibly.
So I am thinking, instead of worrying about where he is, how do you draw him out?
So who is he connected to? That would be another intelligence politics.
Okay. I will take that 5.
Whew. Oh, he has a favorite, all right. One who departed with him rather eagerly from the Chantry when the Chantry split. Because everybody knows that the Chantry around 2008 was undergoing a sort of change. They, for the life of them, could not stay on the same page anymore. And thus, when that split happened, Gutenberg took with him some very prominent Tremere with, and they were. Let's see. Let me look at my list here of people. Among them was a woman named Freya Richer, a very, very promising older neonate who, by your recollection, was pretty adept in blood sorcery. Or at least, that's what it seemed, anyway.
What you would be looking for, Malice, is Freya Richard. You see, everybody's got a favorite, and everybody's got to end up finding somebody they got to invest into, have a little bit of fun with. And when it comes to Gutenberg, Freya is definitely the one that he ended up dragging out. Probably turning out as well, but maybe that's just the old man being a little bit perverted. So if you decide to have some fun there, well, I'm sure he'll take exception to it and you'll definitely get his attention. And more importantly, Joseph is the one in hiding. Yeah, probably not as much. At least they don't probably aren't thinking there's a direct reason to go after them.
And then, of course, it pops into your mind as well. There's always the pipsqueak Urian Doyle.
Could also take Urian, yeah. That would also be a good one. Premier have this tendency to stick together. Even when they split apart, they can't help it. Guess they're not
But
particularly good on their own.
before I respond to that, pardon me, if I know her name, I recognize her name from any of the dealings that Eglin would have had with Joseph.
It's going to be an intelligence politics for you, but the difficulty is going to be higher.
Right.
You don't know a whole lot of what Magdalene was up to, so it's a shot in the dark, but it's a shot.
I realize I didn't add my specialty.
Oh,
Damn.
but you still had 5. It's fine.
Yeah.
5 on a crit.
One, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Well, maybe you do know a lot about what Magdalene.
I was with Magdalene before any of this. I was with a lot of the stuff that he didn't always know I was there.
Apparently, because
That's a crit.
a crit on, you said 7?
Yeah.
Ooh. 7 with a crit. Okay.
Your goddamn dice rolls.
I know, right?
You borrowed them for the night, so
Let's not curse on my players with Derek dice, y'all.
Oh no!
There has to be equilibrium in the universe.
Well, the free steel crit the last time to get into the mess I had to get out of. I'm not trying to get into one tonight.
And on that note, actually, you may never have heard a name, but you have definitely seen a woman with Gutenberg in the past from the distance that you've observed him. Several, in fact. It could be any one of the people that he's interacted with, but there always seems to be some group of people with him, though. He's either talking to a group of people, or he has a group of a sort of entourage with him, too. Perhaps the night that you saw him was one of the few that he's been alone.
Was Urian ever with him when he came?
On the occasion.
With Magdalene.
Never very close by when they're having a personal conversation, of course, but always slinking around somewhere.
It's Freya or Urian? No. So you say it's Freya or Urian? You describe Freya? You know?
Dana, you would know her to have black hair, pale skin, dark eyes, frequently pretty well dressed, with nice blouses and business pants. You know, a respectable looking woman.
No doubt. Always trying to keep up appearances, after all. I share this little bit of information. Who knows, maybe the Hikata will actually end up showcasing that they can end up doing something about it. I just kind of lean back in my chair afterwards. I'm hoping that'll at least get the ball rolling for you.
She sounds like somebody that was with Joseph a lot, but as you know where she happens to make her residence other than in Flowwood,
Do I
I
look like
guess
the Yellow Pages to you?
I said, since you don't seem to know, I guess I'll have to start with Urian since I do know where he is.
There you go.
That is all the information you have. I bid y'all good evening. I have plans of my own that I must attend to.
Why, oh, why am I not surprised? What?
Did you say that out loud?
Yep.
Some of us still have jobs and have to keep up appearances as pretending to be human. Some of us don't have the luxury of hiding and doing whatever fuck all we want.
I love the accusation. I guess you're free to end up believing what you like. Well, don't keep your patients waiting, good doctor, and try not to eat any of them.
Not the living ones, at least.
I gag a little bit at that thought. Just the very notion of drinking corpse blood.
Ken, it kind of makes you, like, have to choke down a little bit of a gag yourself. Because that sounds real disgusting.
It's better fresh a day off.
Information that was not crucial to my existence. Thank you very much, good doctor. Just what? Fine. Grab hold of my jacket.
Speaking of jobs, boss, did you talk to Persian?
Oh God, is she calling in sick now?
No. It regards on what I'm going to plan on doing tonight.
What you're planning on doing? Oh, goody. This ought to be good. Kenny boy's making plans.
Persian may have come in and interrupted you during the previous day. You might have been a bit more distracted and really didn't pay attention.
Or maybe I did, and I'm just kind of wanting to play Kenny up right now.
Perhaps. How would he know?
Well, if you don't remember, she came in. I might have auditioned to be the new bassist.
Why?
Because it sounded like fun.
Kenny, I would like to remind you, just for a brief moment, that at this exact time we're kind of at, well, a crusade to end up getting rid of the anarch movement in the city in a situation where it is kill or be killed, and we're going to probably end up being on extremely short notice when, oh, what's a poetic way to phrase this? When the shit hits the fan.
This is true.
So you... Oh, God. I'm going to have to deal with Persian.
She was raving about something the other day. Yesterday.
Let me put it to you very plainly, Mr. Tanaka. If I have to end up dealing with any mishaps Say Persian just doesn't answer her phone one day. Or Ted decides that he just magically disappears. Or that anybody in my staff suddenly feels a little under the weather. Understand, I'm not going to be asking if you had any involvement. I'm going to assume it. Tread very carefully. I let you in because, bluntly, I'd rather you be fucking up near moving glassware than I am with you trying to preserve the masquerade. Not because I give a shit about you, but because I give a shit about myself. And whenever you screw up, that means it's coming down on my head.
That you made yourself abundantly clear multiple times.
Yeah, and I'd like to restate it for the record.
I have no
Version,
plans
once
on
she
leaving
has.
your staff.
You have no plans on it, Kenny, because it never is planned. I know that. Do you do you think I was embraced literally last night, or do you think I'm unaware of our tendencies to,
I am
maybe
working.
eat the person in the elevator, or maybe see somebody in a car wreck, start to want to help, and realize now we're all of a sudden fangs deep inside them, sucking on dead arteries?
I'm
This is a
working on
normal
keeping myself
thing that
fit.
happens, Ken. We are a danger to everyone around us. This is why I am telling you.
I don't want that to happen again.
Don't want it to happen again. Show exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter what you want, Kenny. I'm sorry to tell you, it's going to happen. Not an if, but a when. And that is true for every cape I have ever met. So you can't promise me anything. I'm just making my position known.
I understand. I would honestly probably feel the same way in your position.
I know I'm going to live to regret this, but at the very least, make sure to earn your keep. If I don't end up seeing the. If we don't end up ending this war at this point, things are going to end very, very badly. And I honestly do not care on how good of a bassist you are when the Anarchs decide to come around with Molotovs.
Yes, I can see it's not a priority. I was just looking for something to do in the meantime, make myself useful.
You're going to make me lose my mind, Kenny Tanaka. You're going to make me lose my mind. I'm going to be signing up to Clan Malkavi in the next few weeks because of you.
I don't think it works like that, but I will try not to make you lose your mind any more than I already do.
I stand up. I have to end up going and actually getting involved in this war tonight. I don't have the luxury of personal errands taking priority. Understand, I'll be checking in.
There's anything I can do to help
No,
you.
no, 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 no. Your help. I've seen where your help ends up. When I need your help, it will be involving bullets, fire, and a whole lot worse. And at that point, you better be ready. My job is to end up finding the targets, to find little chinks in their armor, to find out where they slipped up, fortify, because I think I'm the only one who's actively thinking about this domain, while you want to play base, and Malice wants to play doctor. And we end up having Mercy wanting to play nursemaid, and Rodney wants to fuck a cat. So, I think you'll understand why it is that I'm trying to be patient, but I do not have the time to be your nursemaid. I am not your sire. I am not a sire by proxy. I'm not your mentor. I'm not even sure what you're doing here. But the prince has said that you're a part of my responsibility, and given that I'm the only one who's taking this seriously, well, guess what? I guess if you plucking on 4 strings all night ends up at the very least keeping you out of harm's way, then I will count my blessings such as they are, because in this existence of the damned, I don't need to worry about what is Mr. Tanaka planning tonight.
The gravity of the situation is not lost on me.
It clearly is.
Nothing I can do. I do not have your connections. I do not have your resources. I do not have your knowledge, as you've proven. So I can only do what I have in front of me. If I could do more, I would be doing it. But frankly, I don't know what the fuck to do. And playing bass is better than sitting with a thumb up my ass.
Fine. You want to know what to do? Figure out where your sire is. And make sure to end up giving the sheriff a very quick chance to put their neck on the chopping block.
I will work on that.
That's something I can't do. If we don't start dismantling them, hey, Kenny, by the time this whole thing bubbles over, it's going to get a lot more vicious. And I know their imagination. Till then, I got to end up arranging meetings and trying to see if I can pull this all together, because it seems like Clan Toreador, 2 out of 3 at least, are the only ones who are actively keeping an eye on this domain. And since Liv is... well, I hope that she's polishing a gun rather than wearing a cocktail dress this evening. She just kind of trails off. She just looks absolutely done. She just zips up her jacket and starts to walk to the door.
Good luck.
Be well, Mr. Tanaka.
And so, the 3 members of the dig team that we're following tonight have gone their separate ways. Firstly, we'll follow Malice as he makes his way towards the hospital, I believe.
Yes, first.
It says sterile, an environment as you would recognize. The scent of bleach and other cleaners filling the air, giving you that really familiar, cleanly feeling in the room. Something about just the smell of cleaner just puts you at ease. Being in the hotel with a lot of Rodney's foul smelling who knows what. God, what you wouldn't give to douse the whole thing in gasoline. That would smell better. Light the whole damn thing on fire.
A long way to a good start.
But you internally chuckle, you internally shudder a little bit at the thought of roiling flames in the hotel. God forbid, right?
I'm sure Dana would know how to get such a blaze going.
Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. There's a lot about that woman you don't know.
Yeah, put that on the back burner for now. On with her tirades. Focus.
So what are you doing while you are here in the very familiar morgue?
I'm using the computer to see if I can pull up employee records. Specifically, the man that disappeared and wandered off into the night that I assume Mercy is following now. And
You still haven't heard from her tonight.
most importantly, the reason she isn't at the house and hasn't been in or checked in. It's only an assumption, but still, it's a fair one given her proclivities, her desire to protect me.
So, to access the employee records, let's figure out what kind of access you would have. So that would be unless you plan on hacking your way into the things. Which
No, that immediately sends red flags to any of the Hakana members in the hospital. Oh, I'm not trying to hack him.
and you know that Katarina and the Dawn both kind of prowl around here
All the time.
all the time. And let's see, I'm going to call for a wits and investigation. Now it's going to be kind of high because you're trying to get into employee records when you may or may not have full access to them.
5 successes.
5. Okay. You don't have full access. The way the personal information that's are a part of employee records, aside from names, you have a list of names and badge numbers. Because people wear badges in this hospital. It's really about all you get, though, using standard methods, because your access, even as a head of department, doesn't give you full access to personal information.
No, but it should also give me a phone number to contact them.
You would have a phone number, yes.
And I'm going to blush of life use my phone. First phone look up. And that's a success.
Not getting any hungrier. What hunger are you at?
1.
1. Perfect.
Yeah, I went from 2 to 1 because I ate the heart.
How convenient. It was dished out on a tray and everything.
Yeah. So, reverse directory lookup with the telephone to see if I can find an address attached to this number.
And that's just using a search engine?
It's a website that he uses to look into people that he's not too entirely sure of, and it searches all of the public records.
Um,
And not they have criminal history, things like that.
I'm gonna say that that is a wits plus streetwise.
Ooh, critical.
Ooh. And how many on that critical?
That makes 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah.
5 successes. You punch in the number on this reverse lookup website and, pull it up in the, proper incognito tabs and make sure that you can't be traced down or anything like that. And you know how the spiel works. You do come to an address because it's strangely a number listed in the phone book. Not many people list their numbers anymore, or at least for public record's sake anyway. And so, strangely enough, you have an address.
Okay. Alice is gonna call Mercy.
High or low?
Oh.
She doesn't answer.
Just leave her a quick message. Hey Mercy, just checking in on you. You call as soon as you get this. And hang up.
Noted. It's about that moment as you're about to leave, however, that a somewhat familiar face does start to pile into the morgue where you are.
How familiar.
Don Luca Mangini.
Mm-hmm. Good evening.
Evening, Malice.
How are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I'm as well as I can be.
I see. What have you been up to?
hunting anarchs for ants.
Continuing what? I'm sorry.
Hunting down anarchs.
Chasing down anarchs.
Attempting
Yeah,
to.
yes. Ah, yes.
Attempting to, as I've been put on the front lines with the dig crew.
Well, that was your choice.
Eh, sometimes it's best to work with folks.
Couldn't
Even
agree
if you
more.
don't like them.
Could not agree more. Curious, though.
Yes.
Walk with me.
Sure.
And he.
Also, everything that he had after checking the schedule and stand up and walk out.
And he leads you out of the morgue into the front lawn of the hospital. Kind of walking, providing you with some small talk. He's not uncharismatic. He's very, nice, very, you know, he makes things fairly enjoyable in his presence.
Does he
And
seem distracted?
distracted?
No.
Distracted by what? Are you...
I don't know. I'm just asking if he seems distracted with all the small talk, or is there a point to this?
Make me a wits insight.
3 successes.
Best you can guess. There might be a point that he's trying to get to. But he's not. It doesn't seem that he's willing to make that point in front of other people.
Right.
If anything.
Yeah, I figured.
And
Behind
he-
the woodshed.
He kind of walks you across the parking lot and kind of pulls a cigar out of a box and kind of just fiddles with it for a second. So, I had a very strange encounter today.
How strange.
Quite strange, actually. I'm sure you're familiar with the staff of the morgue, yes?
Yes, sir. I'm familiar, especially those on the evening shift.
Well, then you might know exactly what I'm talking about then. As it would turn out, this individual was minding his own business on an autopsy. Does this sound familiar?
Indeed.
Do I need to continue?
No. I know exactly who it is, and I know exactly what it was.
Then why don't you tell me, in your own words?
I came to check on some things, and, well, was suddenly overcome with hunger, and all other thoughts left.
You frenzied.
No. No, I did not frenzy. Uh,
We all get stray thoughts from time to time. You could not control yourself.
How does a vampire explain compulsions to another vampire?
You had a sudden urge. That's all.
The beast urges wanted what it wanted and would not be slaked in any other way.
And your
Come
mind
on,
was
very
consumed
suddenly.
in this.
Yeah, short of frenzy, yes. And then
See,
there was an incident afterward.
what kind of incident?
Where I attempted to blood bond him, knowing that he was mortal, assuming the heart of its one he was attempting to autopsy. I assumed it would be a masquerade breach at the least. Attempted to do what I knew how to control the situation. Wandered off into the night, and that was all I've seen of him. Simply put his things down and left.
He kind of looks you up and down, kind of gauges your poise, your demeanor, kind of looking you over, and even walking around you, circling you.
Don't change demeanor or the way I stand. I notice and listen to where he is and what's going on, but
You see, I've also noticed other things missing.
things missing.
Bodies, pieces. You don't think I would know?
I assumed you always knew. Where do you think Magdalene got everything from?
Clever. Clever boy. No, I'm not angry
Think
about that at all. Sorry, what?
I said, who do you think taught me where to get everything?
Well, of course, of course, of course. And we, as, members of the Clan of Death, must, of course, look out for our own. You could have asked me, though. I'm a little offended.
I do apologize.
If
Never
you were
occurred to me.
If you were so desperate, I would not let you go hungry.
Not a
Malice.
matter of not a matter of desperation. Trying to make sure I've got everything I need for the ceremonies. Replace what Magdalene had stores. And when I'm trying to learn from Katerina, I did not realize that it was an offense to you not to ask. I should have.
We're family, Malice.
Know from now on, if I need something, I should ask.
Please do.
Yes, I did come to, as you say, stock the larders. I don't know what overcame me. Really wasn't even that hungry. More so than tonight.
Sometimes the mind can focus too much on a specific thing, and it won't let it go.
You ever get to a point where that little voice in the back of your head is quiet, other than when you're feeding?
It's never quiet unless I am feeding. Only then, when I am drinking the lifeblood of an individual, only then does it ever quiet.
I have a question for you, and I don't know if you know. Magdalene let slip once that there's a particular ritual preserving the bodies so that they're fresher longer.
I've heard of it, yes.
You know how it's done. Beyond
Hmm.
grave dirt and fouled holy water, I have no idea what else it requires or how intense the ritual is.
Every ritual comes with days, weeks, months of practice. Scrawling the runes ever so perfectly.
Cramped hands know that.
Are you intending to learn this?
Yes, sir.
There's always a cost to everything, Melis.
Is indeed.
Your mistake. Deal with it. Now.
Alrighty.
Then I might consider you welcome back in this hospital.
May I inquire as to who informed you? Is it
As,
him or
as you said, I always know. I have eyes everywhere.
no? If it wasn't him, there's only one other person it could be.
Are you meaning Mercy?
Yeah.
She told me nothing.
Like I said, I assumed it was him.
Who said it was him?
There was no one else in the room. There are no video cameras on that part of it. There's an audio recorder recording everything that he notices, monitors, weighs, does during the performance of an autopsy, unless you're putting in hidden cameras in our autopsy.
Of
There's no
course not.
camera there.
Of course not.
There's only one other person.
To be fair, there was one other person in the room.
Hidden in a drawer?
Hidden in a drawer. Missing a heart. As I said, eyes everywhere. The eyes and ears of the dead are very useful tools.
I bet. Alice will look at his phone. I guess that's punishment. Must be about it then.
Return with his head.
Are there any other parts you want? Just his head?
You can bring the whole thing if you'd like, but that's all I need.
Okay. Oh, if you'll excuse me, I have to go collect something before I'm able to do that. Malice will have left his bag in the morgue and have to return to get it. Or do you need to get my bag for me and return it?
I think he would have
So,
insisted that you take your things with you,
okay.
so you have it on your person.
And consider it done.
I will warn you. This is your one warning. Cross it again, I will not take you back.
I understand.
Like I said, we're family. I do not turn my back on you. I would not let you starve. But you must follow the rules.
And those are?
Ask.
I just did. What are the rules?
Ask. Ask, and you might get what
Okay.
you want. Without trouble.
And Magdalene taught me it was always easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
Not with me.
As I said, you are not Magdalene, and Magdalene is not you.
And long may she stay dead.
Katarina finds it hilarious just how much she didn't teach me.
Elusive, that one. Always trying to play off the different things that we are capable of doing as mere magic tricks or voodoo or some shit.
Magic tricks, illusions. And with the Tremere and Anox. Alright.
Addled that woman was. I just hope that you don't suffer from the same thing that addled her. You're a promising student.
I overreaching?
Were you overreaching?
Oh, she was. I have desire to do what I can for the clan. Be the best that I can.
Good. We have very little representation in the city, and I intend to keep every last one of them.
And you won't see me again unless I have his head.
Good. By tonight, when I said now, I meant it.
Before dawn. If you don't see me before dawn, then most likely don't have to worry about me no more.
I'll still have to think about what it is that I will do with Mercy after that, then.
If you can find her.
Happy hunting.
Demon and Malice will make his way to the address that he was able to look up.
And Don Mangini leaves back into the hospital. We're going to take a quick break, everyone. And when we come back, we'll catch up with Ken and Dana and what these two Toreador, split as they may be, may have up their sleeves. So we'll be back soon, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to War in the Soul City. Ken Tanaka is taking a pause from all of the running around that one must do in order to find one's adversaries in the decrepit district of the Flowwood neighborhood. Instead, he is doing a bit of, well, one can say self-indulgence. Because he intends to feed tonight, of course, before pursuing anything else of his wanton nature. So, Mr. Tanaka, how do you plan on going about your feed tonight?
Probably do the usual, troll the bar, any of the local places that is in our domain, looking for someone to take the bait, as I say, and indulge me in my proclivities that they don't know that I need to survive on, that think it's just a little bit of a kink.
Yes, the vampire play, as you so put it. And since you're prowling around some of your regular places, it is entirely possible that you will be feeding upon someone that you have met before. So is that your intention?
If that is what presents itself.
Okay. Then roll me a feeding roll. Normally at the hotel it is a difficulty 4. Am I correct? Based on your chase? I forget all the time. I'm the worst storyteller.
I doubt that.
Where are all of... No, it's difficulty 3 because you have a chase 5. But because you have
Remind me, it's persuasion charisma.
It's manipulation persuasion. You should have it set up on the blood tab on your sheet.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I was always just going in it wrong, I think.
So, this will be at a difficulty 4 for you, however, since you are looking for a consenting party because of your feeding restriction.
Okay.
And that is a success. So, call a high or low.
We'll go low.
This is someone that you have fed from before. Recently, even. She's nice. She's actually very much, into the whole thing. She's glad that you've actually come back and are willing to play. And, she is more than willing to go to a hotel room and, indulge you in the things that you enjoy in that regard. Are you going to blush? Because if you are, you will have to before you feed.
It's a risk.
a risk either
What
way.
happens if I don't? What happens if I don't blush?
Then you feel like a cold, dead corpse. You are
I have
human.
to blush.
You are humanity 8, so you look sickly. You look sickly, rather than looking dead. But you still feel cold to the touch.
I have to chance it, otherwise she'll know something's up. Let's hope that nothing goes wrong.
You're hungrier. That overwhelming inner urge to satiate yourself, not with the pleasures of the flesh, but the taste of blood. And as the two of you start in this beautiful dance of passions and indulgence, I need you to roll me a frenzy check.
Yep. Mr. Basic feeding scene. I just click frenzy, right?
Exactly. It's a difficulty 3 at the taste of blood. And you are successful, Mr. Tanaka. The urge in your mind almost seems to take over your whole body for an instant, but you kick it back. You stamp that urge down inside of you, and you allow yourself to take of this woman, this wonderful, delicious vessel. She's willing. She's intoxicated by the kiss. She is at your mercy. But you are successfully able to stop yourself before taking too much or ripping her to shreds. No, instead, this was an enjoyable experience. You for having fed, and her for having indulged in the carnal pleasures. And both of you walk away sated.
Never again will I let it go that far if I can help it. I know I can't, but I will try everything within my power.
The beast did not win this day. You are free to slake 2 hunger without injuring her.
Okay.
You can't take more.
No, I can wouldn't want.
That ever-present little voice is always begging you to take more, take it all. She's willing. She's capable of sating every last bit of your hunger. And it would be peaceful this time, on your terms. Not ripped to shreds like the last one.
No, I don't think so.
And easily you're able to pull away. As soon as you have some blood in your belly, you are more like yourself. And so you walk away from this woman. What is her name?
I don't know if I ever got it. Has she ever introduced me to herself to me
Of
as by
course.
name or?
Of course she has. I was giving you the chance to name her.
Ah,
Otherwise, I will randomly roll a name.
we'll call her Samantha.
Samantha. Samantha Holland. She's beautiful, of course. You wouldn't have it any other way. And so you make your way towards the place where you left your note, and you got yourself your response. And so you make your way out to a somewhat secluded part of the city streets. Someplace a little, maybe closer to home for you, to Mr. Tanaka, because this particular little parking lot is chock full of spray paint. All over every wall, every letter in the alphabet, it seems. Some symbols you don't even recognize, but they're there.
Is there any particular graffitis that are not up to par
I mean, all
that
of
would
them could
that
improve.
would greatly offend me?
All of them could improve as far as artistic style, yes. There's nothing particularly mural-like here. It's more of an establishment of territory, utility. It's function over form. Where you, especially in your later days as an artist of these streets, were starting to delve more into form than in function. Why don't you give us a little bit of history on that, Mr. Tanaka, as you're looking at these somewhat sad excuses for art?
Well, he started off on the streets tagging the same way, but he realized when he was taken in after being chased around and locked up enough that it was just not worth it. And he found his artistic talents in the orphanage and started channeling his artistic ways into more of a beneficial direction. And upon getting out, started doing small paintings on the street, as you see, like on just small card stock of people, whatever they wished, different skylines, whatever he could, anything that would make a little bit of money to have so he could eat. And eventually started getting work doing murals on sides of buildings, inside of gyms, inside of anywhere that someone wanted some art that is locally done.
And so you built up a little bit of a name for yourself, especially in the small art community that is Jackson, Mississippi, as you're not necessarily the type to go having your paintings collected and set around and collect dust in a museum as Caitlin Fargus might have. No, you're more practical than that. You want it out there. You want it out in the world, not collected in a building.
It has to be seen, it has to live. And eventually, through weather, it has to die. And it is a cycle that something new will go up over it eventually, and what was there is gone forever. And it was that kind of fleeting beauty that kind of drew Ken into it.
And as you're kind of looking up and down the walls of this little parking lot in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the city, you, as you're kind of spinning around and looking, maybe longingly, maybe begrudgingly, you see a man starting to approach you into the parking lot. Someone whose face you have seen before.
Do I recognize this man?
Yes, you have seen him before. This is Walter Holloway.
Ah. Well, I get a big smile on my face and walk up and greet him.
Hey, how you
How's it
doing?
going? How's it going, Mr. Holloway?
Just call me Walter. It's fine. I'm
Ah,
doing all right.
cool.
About yourself, Kenny boy?
Oh, things are lively, as they say, with everything
Lively.
going on.
Hell.
That's the understatement of the year, but
Oh, I'm sure. One would hope they ain't being too lively, because that just means that, shit's hitting the fan. We don't want that.
oh no.
No, but how you
Uh,
been?
Ups and downs, but mostly ups.
Oh, good.
It has been a trying time since I came over, but I'm starting to try to find my place.
Well, good. Good. Because, as soon as that little bit of stuff, little bit of whatever dries up, you gotta find something, find something to sink your teeth into, as it were. Maybe even quite literally. Who knows? But I kid. Uh, but yeah, that thing that you had me looking into. Now, I didn't have a lot to go on. You did tell
Okay.
me Yasaya's name, right? That was
Yes.
her name's Asuka,
Yes.
and that God forbid stupid woman's an anarch.
Yes.
Okay, okay. She didn't always used to be, from what I hear. But her personal beef is her personal beef, and I'm totally into that. Learning all of that. But I ain't met the woman in person yet, so it's all hearsay. But rumor is she was Cam, much like everybody else in this goddamn city, until something spooked her and she turned coat. Now, what's interesting though is her sire's sire. Going back a couple of generations now, that's where it starts to get interesting, Mr. Tanaka. Because you know why?
I'm on pins and needles.
Because she is rumored. Now, it's a rumor. It's not fact. Can't prove it. I don't know how to prove it. Unless you got some kind of magic hoogie boogie up your sleeve. But she could be descended from Helena.
Would that name mean anything to me? Would I know who Helena is?
That would be an intelligence occult.
Only one success.
It's a very vague name. You you aren't sure what that means.
I'll be honest, Walter. She sounds important, but I don't know of her. I'm very new to this.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. See, I'm baffled. I I can't I can't even believe that. I can't You honestly don't know.
I've heard the name, but I couldn't tell you any details. I. My sire did not teach me a lot. She
Have
taught
you
me a little of how to live and what to do, but she didn't really talk about her sire or anything like that, or
have you
it
never heard of
never.
the Succubus Club?
Would I have?
Nope.
Nope. No, I can't say that I've heard of it. It sounds like a place that would be interesting.
She is the proprietor of the entire Succubus Club franchise. One of the only kinds of clubs that actually cater to some of our kind at all. Like without, being a sneaky who done what kind of thing. She's a big deal.
She sounds interesting. I'll have to research this more.
How the fuck you gonna research something about a person?
Ask around. Someone may know something.
Brother, you asked me.
This is true. I should. If you don't, if you can't tell me, then I doubt anybody else could. I wasn't thinking.
Look, not only is she beautiful, not only is she the proprietor of the whole Succubus Club, not only is she probably the most famous Camarilla Toreador in the entire goddamn world. I mean, relatively speaking.
Ken will just kind of get a little bit of like a shock look on his face, like, oh shit, she's that important. Oh, okay, I'm beginning to see how important she is.
And
That is
she
interesting.
old. Like, you ever get to meet her? Boy, you are blessed by God Himself after being cursed. And you didn't know this about your sire?
She never said anything. I think she.
She must be ashamed as shit. And then she made
I
you.
don't know. Yes, she saw something with me. I think I was a flight of fancy for her.
That's
She
typical.
enjoyed my art.
That's real typical, actually. I can't say the same wasn't true of my sire, but they ain't around here in Jackson, so can't
Yeah.
very well ask them. But You, my friend, there are a lot of expectations on you if somebody find that out. And I'm a guy who found it out.
Well, I owe you for this. I know that.
Well, you owed me anyway. But,
This is true.
now see, my thing is, what you can do for me, Mr. Tanaka, is, now, I did this for you as a favor because I think that you have some talent. And that's obvious at this point. They ain't no denying that you, my good lad, have some talent in you. That if you put your mind to it, it's yours, basically. I can't argue that. I mean, just looking at you, you're charming. And you didn't even have to try with me. So what you gonna do with it?
I have ideas. I need to find out more on what's happening on the streets. We need to know what's going on. I have ideas on how to do that. And beyond that, I've been shadowing another in my, well, not shadowing. It has a meaning in this world. I've been working for another member of our coterie, and to be honest, what she has, I want, and I think I might try to work towards that.
By taking it from her?
No, by building something for myself.
Oh, where's the fun in that?
She is not the type that I would want to cross because she would be a vicious bitch. But
Every one of us could be a bitch, honey.
this is true.
You look deep, you look hard enough, and you see them fangs long before they actually pop. Some even have this. They even string you along with the most beautiful of words, and yet they're stabbing you in the back.
Oh, this one doesn't use pretty words unless she's in court.
I'm pretty sure I can guess who you're talking about.
I thought you might.
Yeah. It's a shame what happened to Delcroix, though.
Is that
The old keeper.
the old lady? Oh, the old keeper, yeah. Yes, I never had the pleasure of truly getting to know them, but it is sad when any of us are lost.
It's just child of the harpy. So, it's a big loss to
Oh,
the whole of the clan. You know, the Manox, they fucking pulled a rug out from underneath us.
yeah, they definitely caught us with our pants down. I wish we could have done more that day, but we couldn't figure out. Kendall just kind of trailed off and thought,
Makes me wonder how good a job a harpy's doing about spreading that their news. But who am I to judge? I ain't no harpy.
yes, those things are above my pay grade at this point.
Mine too.
But I wanted to thank you again, Walter, and whatever it is I can do to help, let me know.
Well, Now that you mention it, though, I think there's something that you can do to help me. Now, I got my hands full, managing a bunch of stuff. I hardly have enough time to even, get caught up on the latest news, you know, of what's going on in this there city, and it. I really hate to get caught with my pants down too. So anything you learn, I want to know about it.
I can do that. Knowledge is power, after all.
Fantastic. I knew I could count on you, Mister Descendant of Helena.
Uh,
Goddamn.
I can't believe it myself. That is. I was just curious about where it all started, but to find out that I'm descended from someone who is that esteemed, I do have a lot to live up to.
Yep. Yep, you do. Now, I'm not one to, spread around everybody's personal business. But you gotta admit that's kind of a juicy tidbit, my man.
If that got out, I could only think that it might help my reputation, as I'm seen somewhat of a pariah so far, being an ex-anarch. That might,
It can both help you and hinder
and
you.
it could hurt. It could hurt me too, because I'm sure
Exactly.
there are some people that would not do it. But those people probably don't like me anyways, so.
So, what should I do with that newfound knowledge?
Well, I didn't swear you to secrecy at the beginning of this, so do it as you seem fit. I trust you, Walter, for better or worse.
I like you, Kenny. I like you. I ain't gonna do you dirty. Not yet. He just gives you this big, big grin.
Alright, Mr. Holloway, Walter. Uh, I'm sure you have your business to attend to tonight.
And you got some things to do too.
Yes, I do. And I'll, give him, shake his hand and do all the, proper etiquette things of
Mm-hmm.
seeing him off and, like, walk him to his car if he drove one. But,
Mm-hmm.
then I'd head off.
And Ken
Probably.
Tanaka, go ahead.
I was gonna say, probably start working on social media of a new exhibit that I'm going to do live if anybody wants to see it, and start drumming up
Drumming up some
some.
hype.
Yes.
And that is a show I'm sure that you will have coming up in the weeks to come. But for now, for the rest of this evening, we're going to follow up with Dana, who's made her way over to the historic district of the city, looking for the meeting place of the coterie officially kind of piloted in a way by Anastasia Hoffman and their potential new member of late, Mr. Kyle Calhoun, the descendant of Prince Marius Calhoun, an esteemed Ventru. And so that is where Dana finds herself at the moment. What are your thoughts kind of going through this district, Dana? The kind of beautiful nature of all of the architecture, kind of putting your sensibilities at ease, your ability to concentrate just that much more present to you.
I'm grateful, yet for some odd reason I feel Rodney's presence with me right now. There it goes. Now I'm here to look in. After all, this coterie is one of the major lines of support that our own domain has. And as I ended up making very clear earlier to Kenny, fact of the matter is that we still have a lot of work to do, and unfortunately I seem to be the only one who's trying to tackle it. At the very least, this place is... it's almost a godsend. There's something about old stone. There's a beauty in something so antiquated. Cobblestone streets and buildings that will last a lot longer than any of the, well, what I can only imagine is carbon copy houses that you'll find in the suburbs. No, this is where things were built to last. And I can appreciate that.
Those
Hopefully.
carbon copy homes were certainly abundant in the Flowwood district when you had your brief living situation there.
Certainly. One of the times where I could barely leave the home, if only on the fact that I needed some kind of respite. I don't think most appreciate how hard it is for a Toreador in that regard. We're constantly shackled by our own eyes. And what would grab them? Going for sensations we thought long since dead. The Bruja may speak of passion, but they know nothing about it. Not the way we do. With that in mind, continue on. I believe I'm looking for a ballet. At least that's a studio for such things. A place of dance. The smallest of artists, their brush, the movements of their own bodies. God, I'm starting to sound like some of the Toreador with the rest of the capes. But I can't help it. This has just been the way my mind has been changing on me ever since my embrace. And sometimes when I'm in these places, it feels even more distinct. More's the pity, I suppose.
Sometimes it feels like ages ago, and sometimes it feels like it was only yesterday. Such is the variable perception of time that comes with being a Toreador too.
The amazing portion of our own gifts of the blood. Almost a completely different time. Even now, I'm sometimes calling upon that power just to observe the world around me and just really take it all in. I can even see some things that most wouldn't notice, like the flickering of a bulb going so fast as to be imperceivable to the human eye. Or perhaps a wandering wisp of something that is a lingering scent of emotion. between sense the unseen and heightened senses flickering about, just trying to take it all in. All these old ghosts. But then again, this is the historic district.
If they were complete, the stories they would tell. But they're only fragments, long since dead. Only the faintest hints anymore. You come to this ballet studio that you have visited before, and upon looking in, you see it's closed. The lights are off. The students and teachers have all gone home, and the wall of mirrors kind of peers back at you as you stare into the windows. The bars that would maintain the balance of dancers on their toes. The long hours of practice that goes on in this place.
I look at myself in the mirror. Though the lights are off, I can probably, with the normal human eye, barely perceive much more than a silhouette of my own reflection. And how distant it feels. They always say objects in the mirrors, are closer than they appear, but this... I feel miles away from myself. I take a moment to reflect, to just observe the room. Though my eye on occasion wanders in the mirror, looking to the sights behind me. Just a pretty girl alone in the historic district, trying to find herself. Sure that there's some cinematographers out there who would have written this exact scene into a movie or play. But unfortunately, this is no such play. It is rotten. And I will start to end up pulling out of my purse a small piece of chalk, leaving my mark to very small, discreet, but something that lets them know I was here. At the very least, it should end up making them ask a few questions. I look about for any change of the markings. Amongst the historic district, I'm curious if they have changed anything. Small chalk piece erases so quickly in the rain. Good for temporary measures. With that, I continue wandering the streets, my eyes bouncing from all this potential prey to the bulbed lights that line the streets themselves, and feeling the experience of old stone beneath heel, even just listening to my own echo, just the tapping of heels upon stone. Never really stopped to just appreciate these quiet moments. They've been infrequent as of late.
You're not sure how long you've been walking, just listening to the heels against the concrete of the sidewalks and the cobblestones of the roads beneath you. Before that sound is coupled with the sound of dress shoes.
Continue walking for a little bit before turning to an alley. I make sure that I reach into my jacket's pocket where I keep a switchblade. I can't be too careful.
Of course
And if
not.
this turns violent, at the very least, we have a little bit of privacy. Before I turn to meet my follower,
Good evening.
I offer a soft smile as I end up seeing the form of Kyle Calhoun.
Dressed well. His suit, very nice. Pressed. His collar stiff. His tie, the knot pulled high on the collar. The not a wrinkle in sight on the suit of this man. You can certainly see that he takes very good care of his clothing.
I'm so glad that you responded to my little marking.
I didn't mean to disturb you.
Not at all. I didn't want to end up, well, spending too much time interrupting your own evening. I imagine things have been quite busy. I presume that you being here means you've chosen your new coterie.
I have. The recommendation, thanks to you, is much appreciated.
Oh, my recommendation has garnered perhaps a little bit even more fruit for yourself, Mr. Calhoun.
Oh?
There may be word in Elysium that, with the tragic loss of our keeper,
Yes.
I may have put another name forward, one that was not in the running, but one I think is most valuable, especially these nights.
I think I heard a rumor about that.
With your newfound coterie having also a position as keeper of Elysium and being the main support as the bulwark of the anarchs coming against the walls, the barbarians, such as they are, then I would think that an individual such as yourself would end up finding a lot of opportunity at this exact moment. Seems the deck is truly going in your favor, Mr. Calhoun.
Well, one must be careful when the deck is stacked, because it could easily tumble. I will... Of course, that's pleasant news, of course. And
But you're cautious.
can you blame me? We are in trying times.
No, I don't blame you at all. Though, of the trying times you speak, since you bring it up, you wouldn't have happened to have heard anything involving the reservoir, have you?
I've spoken with Anastasia, actually. I had assumed that she had conveyed the same to you, because she did say that she had tried to reach out.
unfortunately, my evenings find me bouncing between being my brother's keeper, a watchful eye upon the small domain that we maintain, business, and all other such things. Truly, at this point, I feel like I need an entire room of secretaries to keep it all straight, but I manage.
I suppose there's nothing is stopping you from actually doing so, is there?
Sure, there is.
Aside from our precious masquerade.
The concerns. If I were to start doing so, I think many amongst the court would end up taking a notable exception.
To what end?
She kind of leans into him a bit. Oh, Mr. Calhoun, don't tell me you've turned a blind ear to rumor. Gossip is so much fun, especially amongst the roses. And a lot of people try and end up dissuading that particular point, though we're not just a bunch of gossips, but rest assured, we most certainly are. And I don't think you would end up turning a blind ear to know who you're involved with.
I have heard the rumor, yes. However, I make my own judgments. Others do not make my judgments for me.
And thus, I have chosen to end up aligning myself with you. I'm glad I was such a stern judge of character. It's nice to be recognized in that front. So what is the word upon the reservoir? Have the authorities taken action?
I believe they have. According to Anastasia, there was someone there, but upon further investigating, I believe our good sheriff came up with nothing but alligators.
Mm.
So it seems that they're frequently on the move, or frequently hiding, with their tail between their legs.
Now, out of character, if I recall, that is a mention to Zula.
Yes.
Oh. Zula May. It seems that she might be a little upset that her pets got removed.
Quite possibly. At least it is a strike. Maybe not the strike, but...
I'm disappointed to not end up hearing that she's been reduced to ash. She doesn't appreciate the refinement.
Yes, of course. But Sheriff Galvin is vigilant. I trust that he will find them soon.
I have all the faith in the world of Sheriff Galvin. In fact, I probably have the utmost faith in him, without hyperbole, if only because I know what kind of sheriff he is.
Of course.
So,
Stern,
with
but
that,
fair.
Fair. Dana kind of grits her teeth when she hears that. Yes, fair. Of course, such things are of my purview. But I thought...
How upset does that make you, Dana? What's your hunger?
It's at 3. Still manageable, but getting concerning.
If he pokes and prods at you a little bit more, you might have to go and roll me a fury frenzy. But we'll get to that if it comes to it.
I wish not to end up speaking on the matters too much. Merely trying to get a better understanding as to what it is that we may have accomplished. It also
Yes.
ends up meaning that we can end up maintaining firm lines of communication. Mr. Calhoun, I believe you and I are going to be working quite frequently with each other. And I would gladly host you at our hotel at any convenient times you would see fit. But I recognize the responsibilities that have been placed upon you. So if there is anything else we may be able to assist with, a way to strengthen the bulwark.
Of course, everything kind of relies on the maintaining of the wall, and your clan sister Liv has been, from what I understand, very vigilant herself at maintaining a vigil.
Oh yes, Liv, the ever-beloved hero, the thorn of the rose herself. I don't mean to speak ill of her, but she is akin to a scalpel, certainly, but certainly also lacking in other charms.
Certainly, she's a bit more abrasive, but I can't say that that's not refreshing.
Is that what you like?
What I like.
More abrasive touch.
I prefer to know what I'm working with.
Mystery isn't a thrill?
Not always.
No.
But I do find the solving of a puzzle very intriguing. I've always been drawn to puzzles of every nature.
Well, then perhaps I can end up asking you a question that you might be able to provide some insight on.
Of course.
You had the privilege of choosing a coterie.
Yes.
Mine was assembled by the prince, but truth be known, my coterie is not as, shall I say, cohesive. I struggle when it comes down to reconciling with the Hekata.
Ah,
And
yes.
the Nosferatu I find disturbing, to say the least.
Of course.
And then there's the fledgling. Say I'm no sire, and one would argue if you listened in court that my own sire was not the best of example, and so I find myself lacking guidance in such things. I muddle about, but I fear with the war effort I find it more and more distracting every day. Now, if you were in my position where your attention is being demanded in so many different areas, who would you cut loose?
That is certainly tricky.
The Hekata have a relation with the prince I do not wish to disturb, but we don't see eye to eye. The Nosferatu is useful for information gathering, and yet just being in the same room makes me a certain level of ill that becomes almost intolerable, almost unbearable, Mr. Calhoun. And then there is the Toreador, who seems to crawl about a budding rose I see whose seed is already beginning to rot if it doesn't sprout. And to be honest, I'm not sure if it's worth the coaxing out of the dirt. I don't like my existence tied to such things, Mr. Calhoun. I am feeling this unnerving thought.
You are feeling stuck.
I am feeling as though I am being set to fail in a situation where failure cannot. Well, you said it yourself. Our little defensive point cannot be breached. Should not be breached. I feel as though this is a game I'm not fully seeing. There's no benefit. There's no gathering. I'm trying to get to the bottom of that mystery. The puzzle pieces don't feel like they came from the same box.
If the pieces feel like they don't come from the same box, then you have to make it work. Obviously, I have been garnered some amount of privilege, and I don't deny that.
You are of the Calhoun line, and blood relation to the prince himself. Of course he would be garnered in such goodwill, but if only.
Equally, I have a very prestigious name to live up to.
One that I have no doubt that you will. I imagine that the name Calhoun will be whispered about for hundreds of years in this city long after this night, and will only aspire to greater heights. But
I suppose that would only be true if we could deal with our anarch problem.
And therein lies the puzzle. When I cannot even bring myself to find a place amongst my own coterie, yet I can assist so many outside of it, what am I to think?
That perhaps you're the puzzle piece that doesn't fit.
My thoughts exactly.
So how do you want to fit?
Mr. Calhoun, with all due respect, my sire picked me because I don't. Mine is nature that is. Do not let the vocabulary fool you. If I absolutely have to be, I can be a vicious bitch. And I can end up throwing down with just about anybody. And I will cut them to ribbons if I have to, and I'll end up making them crying back home to mama. And just to end up stuffing something in their mouth in order to end up making sure they don't swallow their own goddamn tongue.
He kind of quirks a brow at you at that, kind of giving you a small smirk.
You're expected to play a role and live up to the Calhoun name. I'm expected to be the artiste, the soft-spoken wonder, the beauty. And yet, like you said, I'm the puzzle piece that doesn't fit. See, I've already ended up claiming my first anarch not more than a few nights ago. I buried his face in kerosene, and I lit the road flare, and I watched half of his face burn off in an instant while the other half was screaming my name. Not the first time my name left his head and lips, mind you, but certainly the last, and probably the most enthusiastic.
How macabre.
And I'll do it again and again. Because that's what I am, Mr. Calhoun. The piece that doesn't fit. Because when it all comes down to it, it's either the Anarchs or the Camarilla. My bed's been made. I'm not going back. And I'll see every one of them burn. And I'll take them apart piece by piece. If it means that I get to end up continuing to walk the nights, to have these lovely conversations where I play the extravagant and beautiful and wonderful bit of arm candy. But you should know personally exactly who you are dealing with and what I'm willing to do.
I certainly appreciate you being forthcoming with me, Miss Rain.
Dana.
Dana. Then you may simply call me Kyle.
Well,
I, too, share in your enthusiasm.
then help me help you. What more do we need? I give all the information I can muster to the sheriff. I drop what information is needed to my own coterie. I have offered up a lot, and I've even been the first to claim a pile of ashes. What more do I need to do? What more do I get to do before I can just maybe sit in a club and play a little bass till the wee hours of the morning on the stage and pretend like there isn't a bloody conflict? What more do I have to do before I get to at least pretend to live again?
Remove the head of the snake and the body withers as well.
If I could end up taking such a risk, if I can end up snapping and my fingers and offering you the urn of thresh, I would.
It's a matter of finding him and digging him out of his hole first, I'm sure.
Even if I were to do that, I can assure you I wouldn't survive it.
Yes, the rumors do say that he's nearly as old as this city.
Him and Gutenberg.
Hardly.
Yes. And, of course, then there's... I don't know, I tire at this moment. I just wanted to know on how things were going. I am deeply disappointed in hearing that Zula May has escaped the clutches of the sheriff. But I hold a light heart knowing that he will eventually find her. I was hoping to have one of the Anarch's heavies removed. So much easier to deal with their socialites, truthfully.
Yes, certainly. I'm sure. I don't think that they would be wasteful on their resources, given how little they actually have. No, I think there's something else. Can't put my finger on what, but
Isla?
so you've heard too. They're tossing that name around. Do you think she's actually here?
If she is, she needs to be found, but if you were to ask if I think she's actually here, yes. I think me and every Anarch believes she's here. I think there's a few who know she's here. And I think that that's enough. And I'm fearful for our prince, truthfully. It is even my heart flutters at the thought. And then I have to remind myself on which line I stand, and then thoughts of dread start to fill me.
God forbid.
We're damned, Mr. Calhoun. God left the equation about 2 fucking hours ago.
I can still wish it. Even if it's meaningless.
Is there anything I can do for you, Mr. Calhoun?
I think I'm just settling in with the area, getting familiar with it.
Well, I can show you around a bit if you wish.
I certainly don't want to steal up more of your time.
Men such as you, I don't think it would be stolen time at all. It would be freely offered. Besides, wouldn't want someone like me walking around and everybody assuming that I'm left all on my lonesome. It'd almost be unsightly.
I almost think that you actually don't care.
No, I don't. But sometimes a tease is all that's required.
Yeah, perhaps.
I will say this, Mr. Calhoun. Kyle. Your coterie now has a permanent fixture in Elysium. You are directly behind the front lines. You have the information from the front, information from the back. You will know everything almost as quickly as it happens. You are now the most informed kindred, the authority, if I dare say so, about exactly what's happening.
Strategically placed.
And I can tell you, the dig crew will be very grateful for your support. I'm hoping you can appreciate what I've done.
I do. It hasn't gone unnoticed. And while Anastasia's not a permanent fixture as of just yet, she is still in the running. And that, I think, is advantageous for both herself, for this coterie, and for Clan Malkavian.
The Seneschal themselves have proven so, and a Calhoun works right alongside a Malkavian. At this point, if this continues another generation, they might make it a permanent tradition.
Anastasia is good at what she does.
And you are too cute together.
Oh. How that's well beyond anything that I was thinking. We're coterie mates. Business partners.
Doesn't mean you can't have some fun on the side. But that's between you and Anastasia. I am just trying to stay informed and making very good friends.
Of course. Of course. That's how one gets along in this little world of ours.
If I have the opportunity, I'd gladly end up here. Well, let me save that as a surprise for later. Put a smile on your face at the very least. Unless I have to go and find myself some kind of refreshment.
Of course.
I wanted to make sure that you took priority before that.
Thank you for coming to see us, Dana.
I'll drop in frequently enough, Kyle. And if you need anything, I kind of teasingly tug at his tie.
I won't hesitate to ask, I promise.
She straightens up his tie. I hope not. I think we both value our time.
Be well.
She turns, starts to walk in that certain way. Her hands in her pocket, caressing that switchblade that she holds. Looking up at the sky and reflecting upon the evening, before bringing her eyes back around, observing, again, looking about with sense the unseen and heightened senses, taking in all the wonders, the dancing of spirits left alone, dying in gutter alleys as their last moment, or the wonderful reflection of the lights upon old puddles that have started to accumulate inside of potholes or between the small stone, a reflection of the glass, and so much to take in. She almost doesn't want this one moment to end.
But sadly, the moment does come to an end. And you enter your car and you drive from the historic district into the greater mass of the city, and you look out into the sky and it looks empty. Except for the moon. A very vivid crescent moon, large in the sky. The only light that you can see with all the city's light pollution. You drive along the highway back to your little hotel, where you attempt to find a bit of comfort in the beauty of it for a moment. Before, of course, going about your other mundane goings on of the nights. And I believe that is where we are going to conclude tonight's session. Thank you to my players for being here.
No worries.
And thank God my internet was actually cooperative today. There was
Full of it.
2 weeks that it was acting up on me, and I had it. I've had enough of that. Had enough of that shit. But yes, thank you to everybody in the audience who was, came along with us. I see that there was some raids. What? There was a Hero Zone raid.
Yeah.
And a follow from Jurassic Spark and from I think Craig earlier tonight. Thank you guys so much for all of the love, and Maddie spamming all of my emotes, every single one of them. I certainly appreciate you guys coming by. We certainly love our fellow streamers out there. So you guys are super great. I'm gonna shout out Maddie here really quick because he deserves it. Because I didn't do so at the time of the raid because I was busy. But yeah,
If people don't know Maddie, they definitely should. He's a great guy.
yep. He came in with a bunch of people today. So thank you, Maddie, for the raid earlier tonight. And of course, I love my players because they're great too. But yeah, this and okay, Maddie, you have a great night. But
Hey,
yeah,
Maddie.
so I'm glad that you guys are here. What did we think?
Shit's getting deep.
Yes, it is. What you guys think?
I'm waiting for it to hit
I
net
had
line.
fun.
Well, I gotta end up finding a new trail to start hunting. But that finally ends up solving the last, or my desire.
Yay! Hooray, desires.
I gotta get a new one now.
Problem is I didn't get to feed after that scene as I was attending, so I'm still
Oh.
gonna be at hunger 3.
Oh, do you want to quickly roll it? Because I can quickly do that.
Yeah, sure. I'll do a quick roll.
Not like it's super hard to feed in your
It's
domain.
fine.
Isn't it
Dark
3?
dice, but still passed.
Isn't it 3 or is it 2? It's chase 5.
Coterie is chase 5, so it's because remember, chase 1 is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
That's right. Okay. Pardon me.
I will definitely take 2,
Cool beans.
and then I'll rouse the blood to heal that one bit of damage I still have not done.
No.
I'm back to 2, but you want to know what? I am back to full health. So
Better
there we
that.
go. Finally, because I have not healed that scar since I ended up setting an Anarch on fire.
Mm-hmm. That was a couple sessions ago. But yeah, we've got the poll for the audience favorite for who gets bonus experience. Speaking of which, all of the end of session mechanical stuff. Uh, so did anyone recover willpower?
If I'd spent any.
Yeah, I didn't spend any either, but I accomplished my desire as well.
Good, good, good. I like to see that because that means that I'm on the right track for you guys. Because doing the things that you want to do is kind of where I'm supposed to direct the story as a storyteller.
But whether it was productive or not, I did talk to Dana, so yeah.
Right, right. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry that Zulame is not dead yet.
Nope, not dead yet. But I can nail two birds with one stone.
I look forward to it.
I'll just
So,
type in my new desire right now so you can see
prepare
it.
and prepare. Be prepared. But yes, that's that. And I don't think we have any stains to issue or to solve, so there's that. So, let's move on to some experience. Everybody gets one for being at the table.
Yay!
Die. And then we deliberate between players about who had moved the plot, who had the best scene, and who had our best line. So, who moved a plot?
I'm gonna go with Dana.
I'd have to say Dana.
Yeah.
She ended up putting the chits in to give Malice the direction to go. Ended up pushing, yeah, ended up pushing Kenny to end up starting to actually get involved in the war effort.
Right,
And
right.
she's the major political player in the group and has been shifting the political landscape to benefit the dig crew. So,
Yeah. Good to know. Good, 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 good.
well, she's doing what she's built to do. She is literally
Exactly.
meant to be the political face of this coterie. So,
Exactly. She's the one who gets them help when they need help because she's the one playing nice. Who had our best scene?
I'm
I don't.
actually gonna give this to Kenny.
Ooh. Kenny boy.
I'm gonna give this to Kenny. Specifically because there's that whole bit of I'm gonna play nice today. You can end up hearing it in Kenny's voice of, "Oh my God, somebody who likes me." It's like
I'll go with that.
every time he's around Dana, it's just a perpetual browbeating.
Oh, poor
And then
baby.
and then finally, it's like somebody who doesn't think I'm gutter trash from the jump. Is it my birthday?
Is that based on his scene with Walter?
Yeah.
Oh, Walter's a treat.
Yeah, I like that character.
He's a treat. Still a very typical Toreador. But yes. Is that kind of unanimous here?
I think so.
All right. Then, who had the best line?
When
Dana
dropped.
didn't. Yeah,
Go ahead.
Dana. I was about to say Dana didn't have like the biggest moments like she usually does, but I don't know. There was a lot of zingers thrown around, so it's hard for me.
Dana's always full of zingers. What else
Yeah,
is new?
I did enjoy the little back and forth we had at the beginning. That was fun.
What else is new about Dana? She's full of zingers all the time.
Say it was the when she drops the veil with Calhoun.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Where she's
it's like that specific moment. God, I forgot what the exact line was now. I knew it was good. The moment it left was like,
something about being a right bitch. or a vicious
fuck,
bitch, something
I'll
to
be a
that
vicious
effect.
bitch, and I'll fuck them 6 ways from Sunday if I have to. Not in
Nah.
the fun way.
Well, she didn't exactly use that line, but essentially yes.
Yeah,
She was a little more flowery about it at that point.
a little bit more, but well, she's still dealing with Kyle, so.
Right, right. Of
But they're
course.
now on a first name basis, which
Boy.
is huge improvement.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kyle
be
likes
glad.
Kyle likes Dana.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I didn't go with my other character option now,
What's that? What
which
was
was to
that?
specifically to play a Tremere based on the tall man, specifically so I can end up saying as many times as possible, boy.
The tall man.
I will introduce you at some point.
Yes. But yes. If do we have a specific line like from Dana? Because I know that that scene was actually pretty good with her and Kyle. So
The I can be a direct bitch. There was also the I just finished calling him an idiot. Don't make me an idiot too.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's talking to her beast
yeah,
internally.
her internal monologue, her dialogue.
Yeah, the only one that I can come up with that I did tonight was the whole bit of, playing bass is better than sitting here with a thumb up my ass.
I liked that one.
Too bad.
It's not too bad.
No, but it's
I don't think it's stealing from Dana though.
no.
Well, it's a little out of character actually for Ken because Ken's very, kind of
Get
flowery
along.
language, get along with people kind of thing. And, you don't hear him swear very much. It was cute. Ken's adorable. Let's just put it that way. He's baby.
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 Mm.
I love all the characters. I love all of them. They are my precious beans and I will make them cry.
But yeah, I will default to Derek and Mojo on this one for best line because I can't really decide.
What you think, Mojo?
I'll give it to Dana.
All right, Dana it is.
All right.
And
We
apparently
should
the
just call it
audience.
the Dana points at this time.
No, it's just Dana is the one that's always the front runner. That means you got to end up going, how the hell do I do it better than Dana? And sometimes Rodney's a perfect example. Rodney doesn't do it often, but it's that one line because it's coming from Rodney that it suddenly comes out of nowhere. It's like, I got nothing. I got nothing.
God, people.
Yes, it's tied.
Somebody split it. Nobody gonna get it.
Yeah. When it comes down to the audience vote.
Yep, you've got another minute or so before that poll closes. So, spend your channel points if you can.
I think legitimately this is one of those things where people have their votes locked in, but they realize that the second they do, somebody's going to spend challenge points to even it up, so they're waiting for the last bit.
Waiting for the last second. Raven, the evil grin face.
Yeah, it's in no way Raven's fault that it's
Oh,
all
of course.
equal right now.
Of course. Love you, Raven
It's
Star.
like it's never my fault that shit gets tied up. Freaking Edmonton.
Yeah, this is just payback, right? And I got to suffer through both of them.
Love you, Raven Star. You're great. Last seconds.
Okay. It's a tie.
It's tie. High or low, motherfuckers.
Look, my interventor will always say the same answer. High clan high.
I knew I should have gone. I knew I should have gone high last time.
So what's the consensus,
Going
y'all?
high.
High?
Going high.
Okay. High clan high.
And welcome to Derek Dice.
Big money, no whammies.
No.
Hey!
Fuck you.
It's big money, no whammies.
Hey, for once.
Yeah.
That's 1 out of 5.
It worked.
It worked. Lucky bitches out there in the audience.
Okay. Have I have I have a experience expenditure.
Oh, what you doing?
I am going to spend 3 experience to put 1 dot in melee,
Hmm.
and then I am going to spend a 3 points to put a specialty into knives for melee.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Because she has never demonstrated her capabilities in that regard.
Right.
So it's not a defined trait, but I will definitely end up taking it. So
Yep.
she'll take a specialty in blades
Cool beans.
and
I'll allow
for
it.
melee.
I will allow
So
it. We have not seen her
it's
in a combat situation, so it's not really something that's come up yet.
the biggest reason I'm doing is just because it makes sense with her background. Like this probably would have come up. It's just I
Probably.
didn't have the experience for it at the time.
Probably.
And this is one of the first times where it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm sitting on 6 XP. Let's
Right.
do it.
Yep. Makes sense. Cool beans.
I've
Anybody
only,
else?
yeah, I've only got enough to put 1 dot to brawl or melee, and I believe it will be brawl.
Okay. Going Mr. Fisticuffs. Maybe you've been learning some tricks from Mercy.
Yes.
I did my big expenditure off scene, but
Oh, that was which one was that?
when I upped for performance.
Oh, yeah. That was what, last time or the time before that?
Yeah, it was before last session.
Okay. Well, I certainly am glad that you all have come out to see us here at this little corner of Twitch because you guys are great. So, what we're gonna do, let's see, let's do some shout outs. Mr. Derek, what you doing?
Hey, everybody. Well, allow me to introduce myself. I go by Macabre Derek, and, well, I end up doing Drawing on the Macabre Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But you might also know me for Edmonton by Night Blood Sands. We are just starting season 2. The VOD is on the channel if you can end up finding your way there. Should be a link being posted presently, where the VOD ends up showcasing our first episode of Season 2. It was a pain in the ass to get back on, but we got the VOD. So there it is. You can also end up following me for Vampire the Masquerade Workshop, where literally it's a session where I will muse upon various sort of topics that you yourselves can end up choosing. When you end up doing so, we end up having a little bit of a discussion about it, and we're able to end up discussing any other topics for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, and even tie it into earlier editions. So if you're curious about the game, if you're curious about tabletop, if you're curious about what the hell we end up doing and why it is that we end up having some strange bald guy playing, well, Dana, well, I can answer those questions every single Monday. So hop on in. We look forward to seeing you. We typically start at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, and Edmonton by Night, Blood Sands, it's starting every single 6:30 but Central Standard Time every single Sunday. I look forward to having you there. Thank you very much, Coffee, for hosting a fantastic game as always, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. I'll slaughter them all. I'll slaughter them all. I'll slaughter them all.
Yes. And then we also have Mojo playing Malice and that motherfucker playing Ken, but neither of them really stream at all. But they're still lovely beings. We love them.
You can see me every Wednesday on CoffeeCat Presents.
Right here.
Of course. And so, in that regard, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go raid our good friends over at Good Enough Painting, and kind of give him a little bit of love because I like me some mini painting. We all like some mini painting. Let's go see what he's up to, and see, you know, the kinds of crafts that this wild guy is up to. So be sure to check out the VODs on YouTube. I will hopefully be posting those on a more regular basis now that my internet is not being a stupid dingus. And then,
You mean a weeb?
yeah, that. But yeah, everything that you need to know about this show and any other shows that I do on Twitch can be found at CoffeeCatPresents.com. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, all that bullshit. I do probably more social media on Twitter than I do anything else, but I don't actually. Just follow it. It's dumb. Just follow it. But thank you all so much for joining us. And from those of us here in the Soul City, say goodnight.
At y'all.
Good night.
Stay tuned for further lambasting of poor Kenny. Because, oh my god, I will kill Kenny.